All right, we live once again, my people. Welcome back. Another um, exuberant Teach Me Tuesday. Give it to
Teach
the
me
people.
Tuesday.
Yep. Facebook Live, Instagram Live. We just live. We lit. We live. We all of the above. But now, guys, seriously, we back again. You got Gavin Abraham, mortgage loan officer. Then you have LaShawn. Introduce yourself.
Yep. So I'm LaShawn Abraham. I am a mortgage loan officer and sales manager in our Somerville, South Carolina location at Gill Mortgage. I'm definitely happy to be here today to talk to you guys about an exciting topic.
Well, and then we got
Awesome.
the real estate mastermind here.
What's up, man? Gavin Abraham. Hey, no, that's not my name. My name is Wilmot Berry. Wilmot Berry from Orangeburg, South Carolina. Broker, uh, the Berry Group, broker by EXP Realty here in Orangeburg, helping people reach their real estate goals. So,
Cool,
yeah.
cool. Well, guys, another exciting week, another exciting topic. We're getting questions burning up left and right. So,
Yeah,
um,
man.
I know one of the biggest ones that we're excited to talk about today is just equity.
Mm,
What is equity? How is the market, um, shifting equity, home equity for homeowners out there? What's the benefit? What can you do with equity?
mm,
Just everything equity. Let's give the people not too long, but a quick synopsis of equity and all the good things that home ownership and what real estate does in changing people's lives when as their equity increases.
mm,
So I'll jump right in there. Um, you know, equity uh, has changed LaShawn in our lives quite well and quite often in regards to our home purchases. I think we're now on our for us living since we've been buying homes, just our third home purchase within the last few years,
wow.
and each time, I mean, this is
That-
something we
That's
wasn't
awesome. That's
even.
awesome, bro.
Yeah, but here's a story about it. I mean, each time we didn't even really even when we made our first investment in ourselves that we were going to buy a home,
Mm,
we didn't no one we didn't know about equity per se, or that wasn't the goal in mind. We didn't know that, hey, when we buy this house in the next few years, being that this was just our starter home, as we start to have a family, okay, now we need more space, blah blah blah. Okay, now it's time to sell. We didn't know that when it was
mm,
time to sell that, hey, not only we gain equity because of the market and how either interest rate rose or dropped, which helped increase the market to drive home prices up. Um, or we didn't realize, every time we're making that monthly payment, we're dropping our principal down,
mm,
which is
mm,
building more equity.
Yep.
So guys, equity in its sense is just, the a it's like a piggy bank, and the more you drop into it, or the more the factors that that we don't control as far as interest rates and how home prices start to increase, home values increase. Um,
Mm,
the larger your piggy bank gets.
mm.
Um, so, like I said, time after time, when we sell our house, man, we oh wow, Sean, we got this much equity, and then now the fun part is figuring out what to do with that equity. Do I just put it into buying another house, or do I put it into paying off consolidating debt?
So slow
Or
down for me, Mr. Abraham. Just slow
Yeah.
back
He
off.
went all the way
Yeah,
in, didn't he?
hey, I was
But no,
100
this
miles
is
out.
good. No, this is really good
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
but I want to make sure that people have a very good understanding of all these great nuggets that you're dropping, right? And so, I mean, technically, when you think about the word equity, it's kind of one of those words that have several meanings, right?
Mm,
Because some people think of equity as equality. Some people think of
Yep.
equity as, it can mean several different things. However, in the context of what we're doing, the real estate market, the mortgage industry, the true definition of equity is the value of your house, deducted from what you owe on your house.
mm,
That in
mhm.
between is
Yeah.
is really the equity. And honestly, what that truly equates to is cash value, right?
Mm,
So when a person is thinking, big picture about the investment in real estate, equity should always be, number one, because that's where that wealth comes in at. Because the more you pay into your mortgage, the more your house appreciates, the more, the economy changes. All it's doing is either building or decreasing your wealth value that you can have from owning a house. That's how I kind of like my logical brain over here thinks about stuff. So
Yeah. Just piggybacking off of what you said, LaShawn. Equity is the value of the home minus what you owe on the home. That gap. So
that gap, I like that.
That gap. So it's like if house's worth or the value is 300,000 and you owe 100, your equity is 200,000. So
simple math.
That's a way to look at it. Yeah, simple math. Also, think about it like this: you benefit from your equity when you own the property. You don't benefit from equity if you rent it. Okay, so that's something to think about. And like Gavin said, hey, as you pay your monthly mortgage, you paying that debt down, and then on average, since the 1990s, and I think even before that, home appreciation has been going up every year. I mean, on average, about 5%. So just take that in consideration when talk about home ownership. One of the benefits is being able to have that equity in your home and possibly do other things with it. So
yeah. So I mean, just to add what you're saying, I mean, I know we expect, and we're back to a normal state to where it's now increasing at a rate of about 5% in regards to home equity or home appreciation. But man, boy, if 2021 blessed a lot of folks who were already homeowners, and I mean, we reached record highs in regards to home appreciation, how much home prices went up. So we had a lot of people doing refinances at that time, just simply because that's how they were able to tap in to all that home equity that they had. And again, it was just a blessing, and now people know I can use what they can use it for. So I'll tell you what, I won't dive into the different types of things, but I'll let LaShawn maybe elaborate. I guess what would be, well, if you had to give 3 top things that you've seen that people have been tapping into their equity to do, is it
Yeah, so I mean, one of the biggest things right now, just honestly, based on where we are, as an economy, we're in a very high inflated, time right now, and so a lot of people are truly, they have revved up a lot of debt. So the biggest thing that we are seeing in our profession, where people are wanting to, tap into their equity, is to do a lot of debt consolidation. If they have high interest credit cards, car payments, car loans, and things like that, a lot of people are consolidating that stuff because they can get a lower rate by doing a mortgage versus the rate that they have on their credit cards or car loans, and make it all into one bill and save them some money there, like actual cash flow every month. So that's number one, is what we have seen a lot of. The second is people want to do home improvements. I mean, people are home more. They work from home more. They want to do additions to their house.
They want pools. They want nice backyards.
So they have been definitely borrowing against the equity of their house to make these renovations. Some people may have an older house and it may actually need repairs. So some people are using that money to fix up some different things. And then, some of I call them the savvier, creative, out of the box thinker people, what they're doing with the equity in their house, they're using it to leverage. They're leveraging the equity that they have in their house to purchase another house, like an investment property or something like that. Because like in the example that you gave, Wilmot, if the house is worth 300, they only owe 1, they got $200,000. Why don't I take this $200,000 out and go buy another house and do the same thing? So people are doing all kind of things with the equity in their house. The list is extensive.
Wow.
We do have a question.
I was about to say, I was about to ask you.
Yeah, so we had a great question that said, if you pay off your home, does the value of your home become 100% equity? And the answer is yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you don't owe nothing, you sell it. Everything that you make on it is absolutely yours, and that's the equity in your house. That's your,
Hmm.
gain on the sale of the house. So that's a very good question. So
That's
definitely,
good.
guys, if you guys have any additional question, please drop it in the chat. We'll definitely answer it. Or
That's
you
a
can say one more.
that's a great observation. Yeah, if you pay it off, guys, guess what? I mean, that's all of your equity. But also, I want you to look at it like this too. From a real estate standpoint, I think last year we ran into a lot of this, and I'm not trying to scare anybody. A lot of people bought homes, and I'm not saying this doesn't happen. A lot of people bought homes at the value. They got the loan at the value, and where the home is appraised at. So at that point, if you buy a home at 300,000 and you use the loan, and you also have a loan at 300,000, guess what? There's no equity there yet. Okay, you gotta wait till it appreciate. For you to have some equity in there. Okay, so you have zero equity when you have the value and what you owe at the same level. Okay, but if you don't owe anything, guess what? That's all your equity. So
That's
yeah,
the gap.
it's the gap.
That's a great question. So let's see. The other part of this is um how does I guess the real estate how does real estate gain equity? So I guess when it comes to just the nature of what the economy is doing, how does that
Mm,
either drive equity up or
mm,
or drive it down? What have you seen? Well, I know you mentioned like you said, even earlier this year, last year, things were
mhm.
totally different, especially during COVID. I mean, how
Uh-huh.
would you say that impacted?
Well, so how does the market impact equity?
Hmm.
So I look at it from a house value perspective, right? So like when, for instance, like Orangeburg, property values have been increasing in a lot of areas too. So not just Orangeburg. So property values have been increasing, and what that does is, that doesn't increase the amount you owe on the property. It increased the value of your home. So what that does is it does increase the equity as well. When property values increase, your equity will increase as well in the home. So I do notice a lot of investors. That's one of the first things they look at. Hey, is the property undervalued? They want that. They're looking at, they want undervalued properties. They want properties where they can buy it low and they can sell it high. you know so
Mhm.
that's the game for them. Or if they can buy it low and do what we call force appreciation by adding to the home, making some improvements to the house, new roof, new HVAC units, new windows, different things in the house, and take up the carpet, put hardwoods down,
Mhm.
things that's going to cause that home value to increase, is going to also increase the equity in your home.
So,
Yeah.
a question. So now you made me think of something. How does a person know um, if their equity has increased or if the value of their house has increased? How would you suggest a person to find that out?
Well, that's a great question. One of the things as realtors, what we do is we look at comps in the
There we
area.
go.
You look at what recently sold that's like your home that's in your area. All right. I so you gonna make me go on a tangent right here. So I always tell people this: I can sell a house, but I can't sell a home. Okay.
What is the difference?
Yeah. So a house is, hey guys, I have this asset. I want to sell it. This is our house. We want to sell it. We want to know what the value is. All right. We can give you a value based on the comps that sold in the area. However, a home is different. Home is, hey man, this is what my kids grew up at, and your value is not based on what sold in the area. It's based on those emotions, okay, for the home itself.
Oh man,
Uh,
you dropping some gems right now.
I'm just, I'm just
A
trying
lot
to,
of people think their house is worth way more
Mm-hmm.
because of
yeah,
the emotions
Because
that are attached
of
to
the
it.
attachment.
Where are you
and
going?
we see both sides. I've seen people, hey man, love this where I had my kids at, man. This, man, what kind of wood in this house right here, man. Uh, and then they tell me, I said, I understand, and we take those things in consideration when we are creating our market analysis for that home. But one of the things I do realize is sometimes we can become attached to the house, and that's understandable. I get it. I totally understand. But what we can't do is pull out, magic numbers out the sky, to make your home, reach that particular price point. You know what I mean?
Now
So,
that's very smart that you say that, because I see
mhm,
this all the time, and we'll kind of
mhm,
touch a little bit on refinancing, because that is one part. That is a
yeah,
part. That's one part of a way that you can actually um, take advantage of the equity in your house is by refinancing. So a lot of people are under the impression that I made certain renovations, certain repairs, I've done certain things like that to my house, so my house, my air quotes, should be worth more because I done added, you know, some
mhm,
granite versus laminate. So
yeah.
talk to us about that a little bit.
Well, I kind of got some experience with that. Um, I got some experience. That's a great question by Brian Williams. And we'll touch on that. I had some experience with that, especially with a HELOC, home equity. For those who you don't know what a HELOC is a home equity line of credit. Okay, where first they did just an exterior appraisal. Okay, it's kind of like a drive-by, you
Right.
know, and they kind of quote it based off what they see, they think. And I thought based on my experience, I thought it was grossly low. Okay, based on what I know about the area. So at that point, I asked for a a full appraisal. At that point, I wanted interior, exterior, everything done, and it came up to the amount that I thought it was going to be at. But so the reason I bring that up is that's why you have real estate agents that can pull comps for you and understand the market. Because a lot of times we don't know, you really don't know what your home is valued if you don't look at what recently sold in your area. Okay. So I hope LaShawn, I think I went off topic on that, but yeah,
But I
yeah,
understand where you were going with that. I mean,
yeah.
so Gavin, you can probably touch on this too. So
Hmm.
pretty much the question that how it was posed, because like I know you and I see this all the time when people, like I say, when people are doing even a cash out refinance, they think their house should be worth more
Yeah,
based
yeah.
on, the additions they made, or they got hardwood versus laminate, granite versus quartz, or whatever. They put new light fixtures and made it more fancier. Their
Hmm.
house should be valued at more. But I
Yeah.
guess, Gavin, you speak to your experience there. When we look
Yeah.
at appraisals, or if we get these things back that Wilmot's talking about, I mean,
Hmm.
does an appraiser give you value based on, you
Mm,
got some pretty
No,
decorative stuff in your house?
unfortunately not. I mean, you can, you can go get, these expensive floors, bamboo floors, wood imported from,
China.
the depths of Africa or wherever it may be, and that does absolutely nothing to the value of the home. Gosh, you got to think about it like this. I mean, um, homes are not like cars per se. You know how you have different brands of cars, you have Mercedes, they all do the exact same thing. They get you from point A to point B. They can all be brand new, but they're at different pricing levels. You can have the identical home in this next door to each other, and those two homes are going to be the same. You could put the one builder, this name built this. This is the manufacturer who manufactured this home, and the other builder manufactured this home that's right next to it, the exact same. However, with cars, they can differ in value just because of the name brand. Mercedes can charge X amount of money because they made a car, and Kia can only charge this amount of money because they're not in the luxury um, car selling business. So with homes, and I'm bringing it back full circle. I know I went off. My wife is looking like you gonna bring this back, right? Yes, I
You
am.
answer my question.
Yeah, I'm asking a question. So with homes, an appraiser is going into a home looking at, does the home have floors? Does the home, not what type of floors? Well, I'm sorry, they will look to see if if it's just laminate um, versus hardwood, but they're not looking at the type of hardwood. They're not looking to see how exotic it is. They're not looking to see how fancy your light fixture is. They're just looking to make sure there is a light fixture. They're making sure the amount square footage. Does this square footage hold up to the square footage of a comparable home, down the road? Those are the things that they're looking at, making sure that the very essentials of what a home requires, walls, floors, you know, depending on where you're living, whether or not it requires um, HVAC throughout, because not every home has an air conditioning system. So if you
Gotcha.
didn't know that, but yeah, so those are the
Okay.
things that they're looking at and they're giving value to. So it's not that they're giving value to the the pool that you put in the backyard, because that's not a necessity in regards to living. That is
So
a
what I'm hearing, and I'm not trying to cut you off, but what I'm hearing,
Mhm.
just to make sure I'm connecting the two,
Yeah.
is that so some of the things that add value to your house, you mentioned square footage, right?
Right.
So if this house is 2,500 square feet versus your neighbor's house who may be 3,000 square feet, the one that has bigger square footage could be valued more, right? Is
Mm.
that fair to say, guys?
It's a fair assessment, well,
Okay,
but
cool.
Wilmot's gonna throw something
Wilmot's
in
the
there.
realtor, so I
Yeah,
stick to
Let
Wilmot's the
me
real.
let me say this. Let me say this, Gavin. That is something that is considered. Okay.
Consider.
I want to use that word carefully because I don't want to say it doesn't matter what you have in your house because don't get me wrong. I've had scenarios where I've had appraisers use comps with homes that haven't been updated, with homes that have been updated, and the homes that have been updated come in at higher values. Okay,
Mm.
so I'm just saying they do consider those things. I've
Yeah.
noticed that because we have to check those comps for our clients because I work for some investors and when they flip houses, they were like, well, Wilmar, what other homes sold in the area? And I look at that home, and this home hasn't been updated since 1975, right?
Mm.
And it's sold for, let's just say, I don't know, $170,000. But my man right here got the same square footage of a house, but he put it on the roof. He put an HVAC unit. He made these updates. He did what we call force appreciation. Okay. So that being said, those things are considered to okay to a degree. They can't, but what I think what I know sometimes is the problem is some people put too much value on them than the appraiser
Mhm.
will. Okay. So that's what I'm noticing, Gavin. So I think sometimes they can become going back to the question I think Brian Williams asked about what are some of the strategies to detach someone from a home. And one of the things strategies, yeah. So one of the things that I do is I bring up comps that's in the area that looks like my client's house,
Okay.
right? And a pretty similar. And I say, hey, is this house, would you say this house is like yours or better than yours? You know? And they'll say, yeah, that looks like my house. I said, okay, this house sold for this amount. Okay. Very logical for them, you know,
Mhm.
to try to make sure that they understand where I'm bringing my values from. And that
That makes
sometimes
sense.
hopefully detaches them a little bit. What
That makes really good sense.
one more thing is I do to okay. Another thing I do is sometimes if that's the price they really want for the house or whatever, I'll tell them and say, hey, I think it's on the high side, but we can go ahead and list it at that price and let's see what happens. Okay. After the house sits for a month or two, then we reconsider the price, you know. to kind of bring them back to earth a little bit when it comes to that. So yeah.
But that's a really good point, because I look at this. So two things kind of came to mind. And I'm going to comment on what you just said just now, because sometimes I truly believe that a person's value or a person's worth, especially when someone's very attached to their home, that's something that can vary by the person. Because I mean, to be honest, I mean, we had a period in time, especially during COVID, where a house may have not been worth that $300,000. However, people were willing to pay more for it because they had a different value, worth, or they had a different need attached to it. So sometimes, that can kind of play a part into how much equity, you can truly gain or, truly make from the sale of that house because of that. The other thing I'm going to say to that, just to kind of make sure that the answer to the question really gets the bullets that I was looking for, is that when it comes to the house itself, the things that truly brings value is, I heard square footage. Wilmot, you mentioned something about the age of the house. So when it comes to the age of the house, then whether it has been updated, renovated, that helps kind of drive the value. What I've seen as well is like how many bedrooms are in the house, how many bathrooms, half baths, things like that. Landscaping, believe it or not, that right there plays a part in the value too. So if you do kind of like certain things, I think that can also help increase the value of your house, which in turn will increase, your cash value that you can make from the house. So yeah, so that's really good.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey guys, really, really good stuff today. Really, some good gems dropped, and I think a lot of good information for people to truly understand equity, what they can do with their equity.
Any more questions?
Let's see. I think I've answered all the questions.
Yeah, I don't think there were any new questions.
Yeah, I didn't see any new questions, but these are really good. Definitely, guys, if you have any questions, even after this live is stopped, still post them. We'll definitely make sure we answer and address them. Please feel free to reach out to any one of us, either directly via Facebook. This is also streaming for me to LinkedIn as well. With any questions that you guys may have regarding anything mortgage related, real estate related, I'll let each one of us kind of go by and let people know how they can find you or the best way to contact you. Mr. Wilmot, what's the best way people can find you or contact you?
Oh, you can call me via cell. My number is 803-347-3329, or message me on Facebook, Instagram. Also, you can check out my YouTube page. It's the Bear Group on YouTube. So you can find me on there if you want more content as well, looking at any homes or educational content as well. Uh-oh. Did I go out just now?
No, you still there.
You did slightly. But I see you now.
Okay. Okay.
But no.
So, all right.
I was trying to use. I thought I heard somebody say something.
Go ahead and go, Gavin. I'll go last if you want me to.
No. I was just saying. I mean, Gavin, if you're watching this, I'm sure, if not already a Facebook friend, definitely just look me up, Gavin Abraham. It's not too many of us out there, but you'll find me, mortgage loan officer, Facebook and Instagram. Instagram, Mr. Get Her Done. Reach me on my cell, 803-707-6809. Guys, just Facebook message, Instagram message, whatever it is, jump in the DMs. I'm more than happy to shoot contact information over to you, set up a call so that we can dive deeper and really help you guys on your goal of home ownership.
Yeah. And then lastly, for me, LaShawn Abraham, you can definitely find me on Facebook under my name. LaShawn is LASHAN. And then on Instagram, I am L.Abraham_mortgage lady. And we just started a YouTube channel, so please subscribe. We need some more subscribers, please, to watch all of this great content. It's all things mortgage with Team Abraham. Or Team Abraham, all things mortgage, one of the two. So definitely feel free to follow us. Like I said, like Gavin said, like Wilmot said, please, send us those messages, comments, so that we can continue to bring you guys relevant topics and questions that we can answer for y'all. So that's all I got. We're right at 30 minutes. So
Great shit. Great stuff, guys. Mm-hmm.
Until next week.
yeah. All right. Y'all have a good one. Talk to y'all later.
All right, great. Peace.
All right.